sweet this week. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by Deck Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. Hello to everybody down there. And we are, of course, proud to be part of the Variety Sports Network, who had their biggest audience ever in the month of October. So great job by them. And, of course, we're coming to you live from the Frank Walker Law Studio. And gentlemen, what are you drinking tonight? Ben, that looked like a dark beer. Are you already into the I know you like that Christmas ale out there.
You can't buy that yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No.
All right.
No. Jubal? I would love to.
Yeah, Jubal, that's it. I couldn't think
No,
of it.
this is some somebody bought a 12-pack of Sam Adams mixed together. Multi.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just their lager. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a fine lager. Yeah, not bad at all. Ian, what are you having this evening?
So I've got some beer, and I've got this Four Walls. I guess whiskey. It is it's a blend of Irish whiskey and rye whiskey, and it's actually quite good.
Really?
It's actually quite good. So
that sounds horrible, but I would try it just to try it.
I would also try it. Yeah.
It was under $30 at the liquor store. So
outstanding.
Yeah, the
that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. It just
no.
Sometimes it's on.
No. What it means is I will buy it and try it, and I have yes.
So if I need a guinea pig,
and
yes,
try
exactly.
Scarps, who's been drinking since 7:30 this morning. What are you drinking?
Huh?
What?
You take a nap there, Scarpino?
Actually, I haven't. I haven't. I was feeling pretty good on the airplane, and I had some good tunes on. It was just
nice,
smooth flight. It was just nice. This is the Four Seasons Brewing from Les Treb. This is the Indicatch one, and then I got a new one called Checkmark in a little bit because I feel
you're fancy.
Like
excellent.
It's not really that fancy.
I didn't know that Latrobe had the
Les
craft beers.
Yeah. All right. So I have my daughter was in Nashville last weekend.
Ooh.
And picked this
apple
up
pie moonshine.
Yeah. At a farmer's market. Now, real quick, long story long. She and I were at the Titans game a couple years ago, and we were hanging out with Hall of Famer Rick. And the game ended, and we went back over to the Renegade tailgate, and we met up with Whitney there. And Whitney is one of the founders of it, and just one of the most awesome people you'll ever want to meet. And they had the apple. It was like, oh God, it was the what the hell's the Evan Williams? Is it? I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Apple whiskey or something like moonshine, and it was fantastic. So she found
apple whiskey.
Yeah, so she found this at a farmer's market there, and I have to tell you, it's fantastic. So I know she likes to listen to the show once in a while because it puts her to sleep. It tells you what she thinks of the show. But anyway, thank you, honey, for that. It's fantastic.
Maybe it's just Dad's voice is soothing.
It's soothing. Oh, it's yes,
like smooth jazz.
I'm like Barry White. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. I see all kinds of folks in the chat. Welcome in, guys. Love to have you. Subscribe, like, join as a member. We would love to have you. The prices are extremely high. We're asking for 99 cents or $1.99. So, I hope you can afford that in this economy, right? Anyway, hey, Steelers win last week, which all of us had predicted.
Haters.
No, none of us did actually.
I thought they were going to get killed. Wow.
The defense, 6 turnovers.
Stepped up.
What the hell?
I mean, that last turnover was kind of a, bullshit, but
yeah. But look.
But yeah, I mean, handing the offense 5 turnovers during 5 playable turnovers during regulation is a huge deal, and getting 5 sacks, that was huge as well. They gave up a lot of yards, but initially I was a little turned off by the number of yards they gave up until I went back and looked at how many yards they gave up past about the middle of the fourth quarter. 185 yards in the last 7.5 minutes. So of that 392, 352, I don't know. About half of the yards came in garbage time.
Yeah, I mean they went soft, kept everything in front of them. Jones hit a lot of those 10, 12-yard plays that happens in those situations, and of course it was made slightly more tense by Roman Wilson.
They gave up a lot of first downs, and it wasn't a totally dominating like 2008, 2010 defensive effort that we loved seeing back in the day. But they did a lot of good things. They gave up some yards, they gave up some first downs, they gave up some 3rd and longs that pissed me the fuck off. Overall, I want to say that Indy was like 40% on 3rd down, which isn't great.
No. And just real quick, Aaron, does that say you gifted 5 Steel City Blitz memberships? I didn't even know that was something you could do, but thank you. That's really cool. I don't even know what the hell we're doing here. No,
we're doing a podcast.
Is that it? Shit, I can't tell. Game balls, Scarps. Who got your game ball this weekend?
That's a good question.
Ask the drunk guy first.
I'm not drunk. Be nice.
Sure.
Right. I would say, I'm going to give the game ball to Mike Tomlin.
Whoa!
Because he was taking a lot of shit over the past couple weeks, and rightfully so. And they responded with an historic performance because they haven't had 6 turnovers in 15 years. And oddly enough, that was the Titans game in 2010 when Ben Roethlisberger was suspended, and I believe they only scored 19 points in that game. So, but I don't, whether it's Mike or Terrell Austin calling the plays, that was the narrative all week. And I tell you what, I don't know who was calling. Obviously, bottom line is whatever they did, it worked. And do I think that we probably buried the Steelers a little too soon? Yes. Okay. But I also think we might have crowned the Colts a little too soon as well. Going back, and I predicted they would win. I think I was the only person that had a 1-score game. I think I was 30-23. So I didn't think they were going to crush us, but I also thought that they would be a little bit more successful on offense. But I don't really think the Colts are as good as people thought. But again, I don't think we're as bad as people thought. But who knows? It's a week-to-week week-to-week league. And I thought Mike had them prepped, especially the defense. We'll talk about the offense a little bit, but I especially after that. Real quick, sorry. First drive, they gave up a touchdown, but they battled that whole drive. They gave up some 4th downs, but that was my biggest question about them was how are they going to respond when shit doesn't go their way? Because lately they fold and they responded well. And I think Mike, that's Mike.
I want to come back to that point, Scarps. Let me get Ian and Ben's game balls first. Ian, go ahead.
Peyton Wilson seems like pretty easy choice, but
I should have gone first.
Well, he didn't call on you, and your name's not Ian, despite you answering for me half the time. But I mean, 14 tackles, an interception, 2 passes defended. I mean, he was all over the field and did pretty much everything you could ask for out of an inside linebacker against a team that, if you had told me coming into this game that Jonathan Taylor would only have 14 carries and Daniel Jones would drop back 55 times, I'd kind of be like, well, that might be a recipe for winning, right?
Yeah.
That if Jonathan Taylor's only running 14 times and 55 dropbacks for Jones, 50 pass attempts plus 5 sacks, like that pretty much worked exactly. You couldn't script a better game for us defensively.
No.
Yes, Jones was very efficient. When he actually got throws off and completed some nice passes, especially some cover 2 hole shots and things like that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, but Peyton Wilson, a dominant performance.
All right. Ben, who do you got? Who's your game baller?
Since Ian stole Peyton Wilson, excuse me. I almost went Joey Porter Jr.
Oh,
but he did have that one DPI.
He did.
He did have a nice game, I thought.
Terrible.
8 tackles, 4 passes defensed. He had a sack. He is not. He had a nice game. He just had the one DPI. If he hadn't had that, I would have been like, yeah, definitely he got it. But Highsmith had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, the pass defense, and that pass defense was actually caught later by Jack Sawyer. So, I thought that qualified as a very nice game. He was AFC Defensive Player of the Week also. So I'm sure he values that a lot more than me giving him my game ball. But he had a nice game.
Yeah, I with those guys being selected, I'm going to go with a relatively new guy in Kyle Duggar. The guy was on the field for every defensive snap but one. And I didn't have a chance to really watch him exclusively on tape during the course of this week. But anytime you can come over and in a matter of a couple of days, just jump right into a lineup like that, be able to pick up enough of the defense, I'm impressed by that. And, he's a veteran. He gets it. He understands what's going on. But at the same time, I was impressed that he was able to play that much. So I'll give him my game ball. And Clifford, no, meatball, not getting a game ball tonight. But I will say this, and I think Cliff might have mentioned this in our Slack chat, that, Meatball does some things. He really does. I'm not saying that means he's a superstar or anything, but he just does some things. I mean, he makes tackles on special teams. He blocks when he can. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro anytime soon, but I tend to agree with that. I want to go back to Scarp, something you said about that first drive when they gave up 7, but you said that they battled. Yeah. Do you think that was a direct result of the comment that Cam Hayward made post game after the Green Bay loss when he talked about we didn't seem to have a lot of fight?
Well, so on the play they gave up a touchdown, they got fucking pushed back into the Ohio River. Like, it wasn't like that final play on that drive was terrible, but as much as they forced them to fourth down, twice, I think, on that drive.
Yes.
I mean, they absolutely battled, but the thing about it is how they responded after. And, I didn't necessarily think that they were going to get smashed even after the giving up a touchdown, but so I think I get back to your point about Cam's words. I think they heard that. I'm sure Mike talked about it. They said Jalen Ramsey gave some speech, whatever the fuck that was. But I said no. But there's what you say and what you do, and they did it. And I again, I don't know if that means anything moving forward, but Daniel Jones looked like the Daniel Jones that we all know.
Yes.
And
he was seeing ghosts, man.
And I don't, again, looking back at their schedule, the Colts really haven't, they've beaten 1 or 2 okay teams, but the rest have not been good. They're also a different team on the road. But I mean, that dude was the Peyton Wilson interception, he threw it fucking right to him. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't a good play by Peyton Wilson, but like, what is Daniel Jones seeing? Like, what is he seeing there? And then
the running back was supposed to run a swing route outside, and Wilson should have followed him, and the running back wasn't where he was supposed to be.
Well, but I just, again, kudos to the Steelers. They responded way better than I thought they were, and there's a big difference between being 5-3 and 4-4, especially with the Ravens who won. And then, I mean, fuck. Good thing the Bengals defense is terrible, because if they weren't terrible the last 2 weeks, they'd be 5-5, right?
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
They'd be right 5-5.
Well, they'd be 5-4.
5-4
because they're 3-6.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy shit, like. But I'm told that the Steelers aren't lucky in any way, right? They're just.
I look, man, we've been around long enough. Luck is part of every NFL season. You got to have a little
$1,000,000%.
It's
and the complexion of the league changes every 4 weeks. We all talk about this every year.
Yep.
What week to week, month to month, and if the Steelers lose this week, people are going to go right back on the fire Tomlin. Rooney should sell the team train.
Well, and that's exactly where I was going to go next. Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Can I talk about this? Because looking ahead here, we've got 5 pretty tough games, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a stretch where, if you ask me, we have to win 2 of them to stay in the playoff hunt. Now, other things can happen, but
sure.
Like, looking at what we got, right? We got the away at the Chargers on Sunday night, which we always play good on Sunday night. Somehow we always play good in LA as well, whether it's the Chargers or the Rams. I don't quite get it, but we always do. So there's that.
A lot of Steelers fans usually too.
Yeah. Then we've got Joe Flacco again, which we know how that's gone the last few years. Granted, that one's at home, but still, it's Flacco, right? And then at the Bears, who are all of a sudden putting up a ton of points, and then the Bills and at the Ravens. So I mean, that's 5 games where you've got the Chargers, Joe Flacco, Bengals, Bears, Bills, Ravens. Like, that's not an easy stretch here between now and the middle of December. Like, conceivably, they could lose all 5 of those games. They probably won't, but conceivably, it's possible, right? Those are all losable games. And any one of those
I think
games,
they're going to crush. I think they're absolutely going to the Bengals. They're going to kick the living shit out of them, and we're going to go, where the hell were these guys on Thursday night in Cincinnati? The fuck was that?
Well, you hope so. Let me get to my question here is this, and you guys have kind of alluded to this a little bit in some of your comments. Was what we saw from the Steelers defense this past week, was it something we think will be the norm going forward, or was it just a mirage? And maybe those last couple of weeks, Green Bay, Cincinnati, maybe that was the real defense this year. What do you guys think is, because when you get 5 sacks, 6 turnovers, that's not going to happen every week. We all know that.
What?
Believe it or not, Scarps, I know.
Sorry, I just talked, but can I go again?
Yes, Ian.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes.
So this game was almost a carbon copy of the Patriots game.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, both the Patriots and Colts are 7-2 and have both lost to us in Pittsburgh in very similar games, where the sorry, Aaron was talking about some WPIAL recruiting news in the chat there. Don't distract me like that, Aaron. The both games, the defense forced a ton of turnovers, and whenever the quarterback, whether it was Drake May or Daniel Jones, was not under pressure, he was picking our defense apart. Like, the Patriots were moving the ball and the Colts were moving the ball. Like, both teams were doing whatever they wanted to do until they turned it over, and they just kept turning the ball over in both games, kept giving us short fields, and neither game our offense racked up a ton of yards, but we did enough to win 1-score games both times. So to me, like, I mean, 7-2 is 7-2. Neither of those teams are slouches, but I wouldn't say either of them are elite either. Like, if you put either of those teams up against the Chiefs, even, who I know are 5-4 and have struggled in one-score games, like I'd pick the Chiefs every time against either of those two teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm ready to crown either the Patriots or the Colts as an elite team yet, despite their record. But I still think, that's the way the Steelers have to win. The Steelers have to get turnovers to win. And in both of their losses against the Patriots, the Bengals, they didn't get any turnovers. So, you asked who the defense is, right?
Yep.
I think the defense is a turnover-driven unit, that if they can get turnovers and put the offense in good position, then we can be competitive with almost anybody. But if they can't get turnovers, then we're going to get picked apart. We could get picked apart by anybody. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah. They need splash. They need splash. They need sacks and turnovers and quarterback hits. And they need to be productive that way. And if they can't, they're not a great unit. And I would agree with you. I mean, they gave up five fourth downs.
Yeah.
It was 5 of 5 on fourth down versus the Steelers. That's not good. That ain't great. But I counter your point about this being a one-score game. I don't count this game as a one-score game because that last field goal that Indy scored was a garbage time field goal. It didn't fucking matter. We all knew it wasn't going to matter. And as long as they kept him out of the end zone, it was like, whatever. It's fine. Who cares? If they got in the end zone, it probably would have been like, whatever. Who cares? It'll be an onside kick with 9 seconds left, and we'll get it back, and that'll be that.
I appreciate your confidence.
Speaking of which, I think onside kicks at this point are pretty pointless in the NFL, and that maybe they should just go to that 4th and 20.
I totally agree, man.
Hey, you got one shot. It's 4th and 20. If you can convert, you get to keep the ball. If you don't, they get it.
Yeah. And I think I think this will probably lead into our conversation about the offense. And, Ben, I agree about the one-score game. On paper, it was a one-score game. Yeah. No, I don't think it was that close. It looks closer on paper. But getting back to the defense, I was very surprised how careless the Colts were with the football. And part of that was the Steelers defense, but also again, Daniel Jones, the tipped passes, it just, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, he was seeing ghosts right after TJ got that strip sack.
Yep.
He was seeing ghosts. That look on his face when they panned to his face before the snap, I was like, that's the dude I know.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. He wants to give us the ball.
Yep.
He wants to give us the ball.
Well,
give us the ball.
So I would say, and as we all know, especially in the postseason, other teams don't turn the ball over. The Steelers have 2 turnovers, 2 takeaways in their last 6 playoff games, and they're all losses.
Yeah.
And then I looked this up the other day. Since 2020, if the Steelers get 1 or fewer turnovers, they're 19, 28, and 1. If they get 2 or more turnovers, they're 36 and 12.
I believe
going back how far?
2020.
2020. So
5 years,
seasons, basically 5.5 seasons if you count 2020. Yeah.
So Ian said turnover driven. I agree, but I also think they're turnover dependent. And if it going, and I looked this up too, same span since 2020. Teams getting 1 turnover or less. So the Steelers are 9 games under 500. The Chiefs are 49 and 23. The Bills are 29 and 24. The Ravens are 35 and 33. So literally, the 3 teams in the AFC you're probably going to have to beat to get to wherever you want to go.
Yeah,
can win games if they don't get turnovers. And I think that's I think that's a logical and appropriate dialogue to have about this defense. And the other thing about them is that they've forced 5 or more turnovers 11 times since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 of them have come under Mike Tomlin's tenure.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 of the 11 are since 2019. And the most, like, they don't score points when they get turnovers either. The offense, there we segue into the offense.
Yeah, and I know Ian's got a point.
Sorry, Ian, go ahead.
The only thing I was just going to say to that is it's something that I talked about on the website earlier this week. Can this team win a straight up game with an opponent where neither team is turning the other over?
No.
Excellent question. I don't know. It depends upon the team, but just quick counterpoint to Scarps, and then I'll get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
One of those 5 turnover games when they didn't score any points was 2019 at San Francisco that Mason Rudolph lost. And second, we all know that when teams win the turnover differential, they have a great chance of winning.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate the fact, though, that you compared those 3 teams that, the Steelers need to beat.
Yeah. Yeah. Ian, what was your point in regards to, I think, tip passes maybe?
Yeah. So, there's been some things I've been bitching about on the show for a few weeks now. And no, actually, one of them was about like dropping the outside linebackers into coverage because if teams are throwing quick, right, which was what the Packers did, which was what the Bengals did. And I've been saying there's schematic adjustments you can make. One of those is simply if teams are throwing quick, put your hands up because you're not going to have time to rush the passer. And from the get-go, to Ryan's point about them battling on the first drive, Cam Hayward had 1 or 2 tip passes there.
Yep.
And I think that also set the tone of like, oh, hey, Daniel Jones doesn't have a real high release point. Like we can tip these balls if we just get our hands up. And I think that was a really good schematic coaching adjustment going back to Ryan's game ball of Mike Tomlin of like, put your hands up and see what happens. Try and tip the ball. And Ben mentioned the deflection tip drill play from Highsmith to Jack Sawyer, but getting your hands up when quarterbacks are getting the ball out quickly makes a huge difference. And good things can happen when you tip a ball. It could get picked. It could just fall incomplete, whatever. But it just makes things harder for the quarterback. So that was one really good adjustment that they made. And I've been complaining about it. So credit where it's due to the coaches for telling the players, because it wasn't just one guy. It was across the board.
Well, clearly they're watching this podcast.
Clearly, yes. But they also did, I think it was Highsmith had another pass defended where they actually dropped him into coverage.
Yes.
And I was like, I was screaming at my TV that I was like, they finally dropped the outside linebacker into coverage. That thanks Jamie for the correction there on Wilson. But
I thought it was too, but I wanted to let you know.
Whoever it was, right? That Wilson was my game ball. I was trying to give Ben some credit for his game ball, but still, it was
Wilson. That's right. It was.
Yeah,
that's right.
Still, it's that they consciously made an adjustment across the board of saying, okay, if quarterbacks are just going to 3-step drop and throw in under 2.4 seconds, we've got to do something to try and limit that. And they made some good adjustments. So I will give credit where it's due.
Absolutely.
I also appreciated the fact that they got all 3 outside linebackers out there at the same time and rush the passer from the inside with an OLB.
Yep.
Getting some more pressure from the inside again, making that guy see ghosts. Really, I mean, what that does is 2 things. It creates situations where the quarterback screws up and throws coverage and you get picks. But it also buys, depending upon your DBs, it can buy them a little time to correct the coverage and get to where they need to be because the ball doesn't come out as fast. Or it can give the wide receiver more time to get open. So it's one of those pick your poison things. We saw Ben Roethlisberger extend plays throughout his career where he'd run around for 4 or 5 seconds and then get the ball off and do something crazy, that nobody thought he would get done. Hopefully we're not going to see that this week.
Yeah. Scarps, did you think that Indy abandoned the run too quickly, or did you think that the Steelers were just doing a good enough job and made them one-dimensional?
I would say that so based on that first drive,
yeah,
they were Alec Pierce was just fucking killing us. And I was surprised how much they threw the ball, but after seeing how open he was, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a different type of game. And getting back to the Jonathan Taylor was coming in. I think they did a decent job stopping the run, but yeah, I do think that the Colts maybe abandoned it early, but also they didn't really ever try to establish him.
No.
And the Steelers are last in passing yards allowed. They have the worst pass defense in the league.
Yep.
And I think that Jones had a couple good throws, but I think he held on to the ball too long.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Jonathan Taylor wasn't part of that screen game. I don't know why Amir Abdullah wasn't part of that screen game, but Shane Steichen's a good coach. I just think that Mike got the best of him this time, which is what they should do. I mean, the Steelers are at home. They win like 70% of their games at home under Mike. Like, are we that fucking surprised that they won? That's the other thing too, because that now what we're doing is we're the narrative is like we're the underdogs now. It's like, no, we're not the fucking underdogs. We're at home. We're the fucking Steelers. Okay, like what are you talking about?
We were the betting underdog. We were a home.
Yes, yes, but Vegas gets it wrong every once in a while. But yeah, I thought they should. I thought they should have used Taylor more, and then also used him in different ways. And I felt that they thought Daniel Jones was going to win them that game, and I really don't think that was smart of them.
The guy that I was surprised they didn't go to more, because he even more so than Pierce. Pierce was getting long gains, but
yeah,
he caught fewer than 50% of the passes they threw at him. But it was Michael Pittman. Pittman was burning us over and over, and like every time he caught the ball and moved chains, it was just like, dude, somebody fucking cover this guy. God, it was frustrating. But like you said, I think they thought that I think that Indy thought that Jones was going to win the game for him. And yeah, again, when the camera went to him and I saw the look on his face, I was just like, that's the dude from the Giants.
I think
in the ball.
Yeah.
He's rattled. This is awesome. Here we go.
A couple ways. You look at the fact that Green Bay kind of beat us throwing the ball, and obviously Cincinnati did, and that appeared to be the Colts' game plan. So I guess I don't blame them, even though they're much more of a run-first team. And Dom, I was just going to mention that. The way we've been abused by tight ends, I was very pleased with what we did with Tyler Warren. I thought we handled him okay. He got some yards, I think, a little bit later in the game, but overall that was pretty good. Just a couple of quick transaction things here defensively while we're finishing up the defense. They did release Beanie Bishop. He requested his release, and they usually grant those when players ask, and so Beanie is on his way out. And then they brought in from the Chiefs practice squad a defensive lineman, Broderick. Is it Martin Rhodes, I believe? Sounds like British, like royalty or something like that. And he obviously. What do we think? Is he going to replace Ukele, who's done for the year?
Yeah,
I mean, that would seem most. Yeah, that would seem most logical. So there's those things going on. And then quick nod to Mr. Danny Smith, by the way. Boy, did he get some camera time on Sunday, huh? My God, they just love him chewing the gum. But what a great play to have Boswell kick the kickoff out of bounds, knowing the rule of how that is. And the Colts had given us 15 yards on the extra point. So credit to Danny, who he clearly knows his shit, and just love it. And
I was told he didn't know his shit because Caleb Johnson fucked up that kickoff, and that was Danny's fault and Mike Tomlin's fault. So now Danny knows what he's doing.
I don't know that you ever heard that from me.
No, I'm being a dickhead. I'm being
a
dick.
But
I was just gonna say, like, who the fuck said that?
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Caleb Johnson last week, did he have like 1 or 2 snaps against Indy? I don't know that he had any snaps against the Packers.
He did too. Yeah, he had a nice carry.
Yeah,
I want to say it went for 8
he had a nice
yards.
catch. Yeah,
Was it a catch?
I know he had a catch this past Sunday.
So he had a carry. He had a carry for 4 yards.
Okay,
and he had a reception for 9.
So let's flip over, talk a little offense here. Ian, how did you feel about Aaron Rodgers' comments after the game, in which, hey, glad we won, but there were some buts in there? What did you think?
I mean, he was honest, right? We could all see it. The offense wasn't clicking on all cylinders. It wasn't necessarily a good game offensively. They didn't run the ball very well. Like, yeah, Jaylen Warren had 2 rushing touchdowns, but at the end of the day, there was a lot of plays they left out there. Past the Darnell Washington on 4th down at the goal line, which I kind of felt like the way the Colts were being aggressive, they absolutely had to go for that. I don't mind them going for that down there. I don't even mind the pass to Darnell Washington, but they did leave some plays out there on the field. Calvin Austin made a couple nice catches on 3rd downs to keep things moving along, but the Colts did a really nice job on DK Metcalf. They doubled him pretty much the whole game and said, hey, somebody else beat us. And really, they mostly held our offense in check. I mean, we had less than 250 yards of total
225 yards.
Yeah, so it's not like this was a dominant offensive performance. It was more that we got short fields from a lot of turnovers. We're able to convert turnovers into points. And I think from a momentum standpoint, though, we talked about the TJ Watt strip sack changing the game, right? The Jones was seeing ghosts after that. But it wasn't just that. I think it was converting that into a touchdown and then converting subsequent turnovers into points. I mean, they had 17 points off turnovers in the second quarter alone. That yes, Jamie, I'm talking about the non-wide receiver 2, Calvin Austin. That's right. So and it continued into the second half that they were converting turnovers into points. So I think that being able to do that really drives that stake home in your opponent, that it's like, not only did you turn the ball over, but they put points on the board.
Ben, we only rushed for, I think, an average of 1.7 yards per carry.
1.9.
It was a 1.7, 1.8. I know it was under 2. Was that more about us, or was that more about the Colts doing a good job? What was going on? Because that was our worst running output in several weeks.
1.7. Neither team ran the ball well. I'll credit both defenses. The Colts averaged 2.9 yards per carry. Bottled up Jonathan Taylor pretty well. He got about 3 yards a carry. Neither team really ran the ball well for whatever reason. And yeah, as Ian pointed out, they did a nice job with DK as well. So yeah, credit to them. I think regarding the Steelers' poor offensive output, I really do. A lot of people were upset on Tuesday that they didn't trade for a wide receiver 2. Again, I will say this on it, and I tweeted it out early today, but the Steelers' last 4 fourth-round picks were Calvin Austin, Nick Herbig, Jack Sawyer was this year, and before that, Mason McCormick.
Yeah.
Are you really willing to give up a 4-year contract, cheap 4-year rookie contract, to any of those guys for a 1/2 season rent a wide receiver? Because that's what you're talking about. You give up a 4th-round pick for a wide receiver 2 who's going to be a free agent in March. He may come back, he may not. So really, the proposition is this. Are you willing to accept a half a season from that guy to try and contend this year? And in return, you give up 4 years for one of those guys? Because I'm not. I think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And credit where it's due, because Kevin Colbert made some really terrible 4th-round picks. So Omar's done a nice job scouting the second day of the draft. Whereas Kevin Colbert, look back at you Calvin had
Austin
Duran Grant.
Calvin Austin was
you're right.
Was Kevin Colbert.
Yeah. You had some bad, like a Duran Grant in the 4th round who didn't even make the team out of training camp. Terry Hawthorne in the 5th round. Like Kevin made some bad. He hit on some day 2 picks too, like the Antonio Browns and Brett Kiesels of the world. But like sometimes he reached, like he just made some day 2 picks. You're like, who is that guy? Like I remember they picked Latarius Walton. I was like, I've never even heard of that guy. Who did they just draft?
Yeah.
That was a 6th-round pick, but yeah. Nevertheless,
Kevin was a cheap bastard when it came to trades too. When he was the GM, he typically would give up a 5. He'd give up a 5 or a 6 at best.
So,
and then we would bitch about that. We'd be like, "So you threw away a 5th-round pick for this guy who played a half a season?" Blah blah blah.
Well, Scarps, I want to get to you real quick, but I'll just say this: don't you think what happens a lot of times though is if the Steelers hit on a guy, let's say in the 5th round, then everybody's like, "Oh God, we can't trade the 5th round. We can't because we got a guy last year." It changes every year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not saying Omar hasn't hit, but also, how do we really know if he's hit on these guys? These guys are young. Like are people already crowning Jack Sawyer as like some fucking like?
No, but he has been productive.
Okay, so here we go. You talk about Kevin Colbert in his early days. Some later round picks for Kevin Colbert. Clark Hagan's 5th rounder, Larry Foote 4th rounder, Brett Kiesel 7th rounder, Ike Taylor 4th rounder.
Yeah, because he couldn't catch.
Who else we got? Chris Kimuatu, who was not the best, but he was a starter for a long time.
He was good.
Willie Colon,
Vince Williams,
William Gay. Yep. Who else we got?
Gay was a 5.
He was a 5. Yeah.
Vince was a comp 6.
Yeah, Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And then here's my point. And then we start seeing the little dip, right? Right? I'm just being honest though.
It happens.
Cortez Allen.
Oh.
Chris Rainey.
That fucking guy. Cortez Allen.
Shamarko Thomas.
Yeah.
Martavis Bryant. Martavis Bryant was pretty good.
Ridiculously talented. I mean, you had to take a chance with that guy. You had to, especially with a day 3 pick.
Yeah.
So and then like eventually you don't always hit. So everyone on Omar's nuts right now. And let me be clear. I don't care that they didn't make a move or not. I really didn't expect them to, but I want to say this about Omar because I've had this confirmed by multiple people, and I know these people do not talk to each other, that Omar was really, really trying to make something happen, and he was very close to a deal, and he had a backup deal, and he was very close with that, and it just fell through or didn't work out.
Sometimes that happens.
And you know what? So everyone right now that's like, "Oh, I'm glad they didn't do anything." If he would have made the deals that I've heard he was ready to make, you would have fucking shit your pants. That is how big, so my point being is he is willing to make those moves, and I appreciate that. And you all know I'm not the biggest Omar fan, but after hearing about this and the fact that he was transparent about it with the local beats, and he talked about it, whether it was off the record or not, I appreciate that he did that. And to be clear, he was ready and willing to trade those picks that every fucking fan seems to think is, "Oh, we got to hold these picks. We got to hold these picks," which is such an old Steelers regime type of thing. Kevin loved those picks, right? Besides that Minka Fitzpatrick trade, Kevin would tuck them fucking picks in it, and I read him a little bedtime story. So the fact that Omar was willing to do that, I'm giving him credit because, yeah, you're right. Omar is willing to do things that the old regime did. And so I have a newfound respect for him. But also, how many times is Omar really going to hit on these picks? Because the moment he doesn't, Yinzer Nation already turned on him this week for not making a deal.
Right.
And when he doesn't hit on these picks, people are going to be pissed. And that's not fair to him, but it's reality.
It's reality.
The reason that people are getting so fucking antsy about it, it's not even the right word. The reason that people are being critical about it is that there are a bunch of extra comp picks next year that are projected to land in the Steelers' lap, 4 of them. They're like, well, what the fuck's the difference? You trade away 1 pick, you just pick a little bit later in the draft. It's not that big a deal. That's the criticism. That is where it's coming from. And I get it, but by the same token, it's like I said, the last 4 fourth rounders are contributors. I'm not going to give up a 4-year contract from a guy, even like a Jack Sawyer. Like, has he been around? No, he's a fucking rookie. He could have a terrible year next year. Who knows? But right now, he projects to be a contributor for his entire 4 years. The guy he reminds me of, I hate to say this, is Mike Vrabel. Vrabel was never good enough to be a full-time starter when he was in Pittsburgh. They wanted to keep him, but he was never good enough. So he left. Hopefully Sawyer doesn't hang around here in Pittsburgh for 4 years and then go someplace else and win 3 rings.
Yeah. Amen to that. Well, Ian, what did you want to comment on any of that before I swing to something else here?
I think I got my points in, so you can keep moving along.
Yeah. Just getting back to the DK Metcalf thing real quick. 2 receptions, 6 yards. And as you guys mentioned, he was pretty much doubled from the get-go. But, Darnell Washington came up with several nice catches. And Austin, as you pointed out, made a couple of nice plays, especially on 3rd down. They seem to really be growing confidence with Wilson. I know Roman made a really dumb play there. And by the way, anybody wondering, I am 100% in favor of Ben Skoranek yelling, "What the fuck are you doing jumping there?" I would have been doing the same thing. Your number one job there. Yes.
He deserved it.
To the ball. That's it. And so, and Aaron Rodgers said this week, he said, "Hey, I'm happy with my receivers." Obviously, he MVS is now in the fold. Granted, he's on the practice squad right now, but so it is what it is. There's not going to be any more addition to this wide receiver core. So this is going to be it going forward. I got the feeling at times on Sunday that Rodgers was like just this off at times. There was a throw to Jonnu Smith that was probably catchable ball that he should have had, but maybe could have been a tad better. They're just
a little.
Yeah,
no,
but that's what I mean. It's just I got.
You should have caught that though.
Jonnu Smith is terrible. I joked about Joey Porter Jr. earlier. I was being a dick. Jonnu Smith is not good. He can't block. He
can't block to save his life. He's a wide receiver. He's a receiver only.
Oh my God. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, he's technically a tight end, but
I'm gonna keep it going then.
All right.
I thought Darnell bounced back nicely after his drop. I'll just throw that in there.
I did too. And now
two drops. That first drive, two drops.
Yeah. How did you guys, and Ian, you mentioned it, but I don't know how crazy I am about throwing that kind of quick timing slant to a 6'8" dude like that. I just don't know that his hands are quick enough to get,
he has to be looking for the ball.
Well, that also helps.
Honestly, maybe okay. And I know he's not here, but that's a throw that's a play where you throw it to Devontae Adams, right?
Okay, that's exactly what I think. Yes.
Would you say, Ian? I'm sorry.
I said or DK Metcalf, Devontae or DK. Yeah,
right.
A guy like that. Yeah,
but Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the same page. Devontae knows like Darnell Washington was probably like, "Why the fuck you throwing it to me, man?" Like
that was the look that he had too.
I'm being serious. I'm lined up on the outside, and you're gonna throw me that ball? Like, come on, man! Like, give me a fucking chance.
I mean, I saw him in that position where he was aligned. I thought, oh, they're going fade. I thought he's just going to release out to the corner, and
I mean, that would have been smart, honestly.
I thought so, but
and I just one quick point about the offense because you know, as you all know, I'm in my feels on Twitter, but the people who even more in their feels is when I commented about that, you know, and I worded it poorly. I should have said that the offense didn't score as many points.
Mm-hmm.
But that's twice this year now that they've had 5 or more takeaways, and they haven't scored more than 27 points. And I know, you know, they scored 27 the other day, but it looked like they fucking left everything out on the field to score 27.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, after the game, the quarterback was like, "Yeah, we're not going to take moral victories, and you know, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror." But I'm the asshole for calling it out, right? So like Rodgers is clearly saying that they're not playing because you know what? If they put one more of those in the end zone, it's 34-10, and none of that bullshit that Indy does at the end makes it a one-score game. So Ben,
they'll run that clock out. It's over.
It was much closer on paper, but like they do not put the fucking dagger in other teams. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if they get conservative. I don't know if it's Mike saying, "Hey, let's just, you know, dial it back," or whoever, but they have had several opportunities this year to fucking put the nail in the coffin on offense, and they don't fucking do it.
Well,
and the quarterback who's, you know what? He's pretty good, is like, yeah, we need to be better, and we need
that's
to do
where
that.
his frustration was.
The quarterback is realistic and he's honest, and I respect that about him and his game. I really do. The one team they did put the dagger in against was the Jets, but their defense is fucking terrible. And that was on a day when the Steelers
that's a good point. That's fair.
The Steelers offense couldn't stop. Excuse me, the Steelers defense couldn't stop anything.
No,
they could not stop a fucking nosebleed that day.
Nope.
So, you know, I just want to point out for the record that Mark Malone's mustache is on fire in the chat tonight.
He is tonight.
And if you are not a member's wrong word. If you're not watching this thing live and taking part in the chat, you probably should be, because it's super. It's really, really entertaining.
It's opinion, it's knowledge, and
we actually
humor.
engage. We engage,
and we do engage. You guys make the show way better.
Speaking of Mark the Mustache Malone, he does make a comment about Spencer Anderson. And
oh my gosh!
Yeah, what I would like to comment on very quickly is if Isaac Seumalo can't go this week, then Mr. Eligible Spencer Anderson slides in for him. So
I thought you were going to say that Zach Banner was like rolling over because
I think that I didn't want to steal your thunder, because I think that was your comment.
Yeah, well, good.
But no, who becomes Mr. Eligible if Anderson has to start in place of Seumalo?
Seumalo, he's going to, because Seumalo's not playing.
No, I don't think so either. And that's what I'm getting at, is who is going to be that when we go heavy, which has been very, very successful, who's that guy? You know, I'm not sure who there is. It Kelvin Anderson?
I was say, is it the other Anderson?
Yeah, it might be.
Plug one in for the other.
Right. And I'm just curious, because like I said, it's been a fairly successful play for us, and I'm just curious to see what they do in that situation. But
I mean, they could also run 3 tight ends with Darnell Washington, although they've run like the heavy plus Darnell, which has worked very well.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably Calvin Anderson's the next one up. Andrews.
Do they activate? And I was just going to say, do they activate Andrews Pete this week?
That's a good question.
Basically, what they did, they put him on the roster for situations where they had injuries at tackle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, but they are down a tackle. Right.
It's a fantastic wrestling reference right there.
Who?
Arner Ole Anderson.
I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, come on, the Four Horsemen, man.
I hate wrrestling. So
right now, Aaron's just like dying right now. He just he's not.
Well, Aaron, you're a dickhead, so no one cares.
Woo! That's right. That's right, Mountain. Yeah. So I don't. I would think Pete would get the call up. Oh, there we go. Aaron just jumped up. Okay.
I knew he would.
Think it would be Andres Pete, but hard to say.
I think it's going to be Calvin Anderson, but it
Okay.
could be Andres Pete. Andres Pete. How do you say his name? I don't know.
Andres.
Yeah, he's really that dude. Supposedly can play 4 positions.
Yeah,
but one of them is not left tackle.
Stanford guy.
One of them is not left tackle. I'm sorry. Hilarious way to put it.
Just saying.
Right.
I mean,
right.
the single most important position along the line, if you have a right-handed quarterback, he can't play it.
Well, Chargers this week. Justin Herbert seems to be slinging it pretty well right now.
Did throw a nice pick 6 last week. Did you see that?
They are an interesting team because they seem to also keep the other team in the game. They've had a few games this year that they've won, that they've had decent leads, but they're a little too close for comfort at the end. Now, I haven't watched them enough to be able to detail it play by play for you as to why those situations were happening. Obviously, his pick 6 last week did not help. But I mean, I don't get the feeling that they're unbeatable by any stretch. I think it starts with the defense getting hands in the face of Herbert. Personally, I think that's where it's got to start.
100%.
And obviously they're attempting to run the ball with Jim Harbaugh. That's what he's going to do. And I would guess, based on the tape from the Colts game, that Harbaugh is probably going to think the same thing that we did. Why didn't the Colts run Jonathan Taylor more? We're not going to make that mistake. We're going to run the ball. But who the hell knows? Yeah, that's a good point, Tom. Herbert was basically on one leg last time we played him. Yeah, that ain't the case this time around.
Herbert's having the best year of his career. I mean, he's playing really well right now. So this is not an easy task in front of us right now because he's a quarterback that can also, kind of like a Josh Allen, make plays with his legs to extend drives, convert third downs. And we've always struggled against quarterbacks that can do that. Not as much on script like Lamar. Like Lamar's has some designed runs. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Herbert will do it off script of there's nothing there, but you're in man and there's no spy. So I'm just going to run for 7 or 8 yards and convert this third down. And we've really struggled not only in 4th down situations, but the bad thing we do is on 3rd and long, like if it's 3rd and 10, we'll give up 8 yards and leave them in 4th and 2, and then they convert the 4th down. So we're not like, if you looked at just our 3rd down defense, statistically, it looks good because we're getting a lot of 3rd down stops, but it's actually not as good because we've left a lot of teams in 4th and short, and then they convert the 4th down and keep the drive going anyways. So Harbaugh's been aggressive in his career. He definitely wants to run the ball, but Herbert now has 3 receivers that he can really just spread the ball around to. And we've got our work cut out for us, but this is also kind of a good prep for the Bengals game where he could throw the ball to anybody, and we got to make sure we have a good defensive scheme to cover these guys.
Who does
sorry, one more thing.
Yeah,
I will say, I said good prep for the Bengals game. The Bengals have 2 wide receivers. They're just athletic freaks. Like they're better. They're much better than the guys the Chargers have. But I mean, Keenan Allen has killed us in the past. Quentin Johnson finally learned how to catch the ball, so he's actually been a threat to score touchdowns and put up yards. And Lad McConkey is arguably one of the best slot receivers in the league. So
yeah, he could kill us.
Yeah. They've got options in the passing game.
Who, if you look at the past generation, let's say, of quarterbacks, who, or maybe even 2 generations ago, who does Herbert remind you guys of? I mean, he hasn't won a playoff game yet.
Flacco.
He's extremely talented. You know,
Flacco
at this stage, Flacco.
He's more mobile than Flacco, though. Flacco was never this mobile. Let me think on that for a minute. Let me think on that one.
Well, and to Jamie's point, he's exactly right. They are missing 2 Pro Bowl tackles. And they did trade for a guy for some offensive line help this week, but I don't know how much that's going to help. But the other thing is, why you ever notice whenever TJ Watt especially goes up against oftentimes a backup, he doesn't seem to play as well,
especially on the road.
On the guy.
Yeah,
doesn't have tape on the guy.
Right,
yeah,
right.
And TJ plays much better at home anyway.
Well, that too. Steve says Jake Plummer, Josh Allen. Okay, yeah. I mean, I just
Josh Allen maybe early in his career. I get that.
Yeah, I get that too. I mean, he's definitely another former Charger, of course, was Dan Fouts. He's definitely more mobile than Dan Fouts, but could certainly sling it. Fouts could.
Fouts had a cannon.
Man, could he throw it?
He could. He could just stand there, not even twist his hips, and throw it like 40 yards. I was like, how did he just?
Yeah, and that's Herbert
flicked his wrist.
Yeah. What do you think the Steelers are going to do offensively? I mean, we know they need to try to get the running game established. That's a given. But what do they need to do this week?
Well, I said this last week, and it actually it didn't even happen. But I said the best defense is offense, and the Steelers' offense last week was not really efficient at all. They couldn't run the ball,
right?
But they did capitalize enough on turnovers forced by the defense. I think they need to try to run the ball against this Chargers defense. And this Chargers defense, obviously, they have Derwin James, and I'm going to be honest, I can't name another player on their defense. And as a non-ball knower, as we all know, that's not surprising. But that guy's really, really good. And you do not want to get, and I know Rodgers is pretty decent still too, but you do not want to get into 3rd and long situations against them. And they got a good group.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for the Steelers offensively, they should try to do what the Steelers defense doesn't do well. And I hate it, but they got to get the ball out quick. Get the ball out quick to Calvin Austin, get the ball out quick to the tight ends.
Yeah.
Try to run the ball. And one thing the Steelers haven't done all year is control the clock.
Right.
I don't even think they've been positive in time of possession.
They were 3 minutes down on Sunday.
Maybe once against maybe the Browns game. I don't know. But and sooner or later, and I know I don't know if MVS is going to get a helmet. Sooner or later, though, they're going to have to take some shots downfield because only 2 of Rodgers' throws last week were past 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. But also, guys got to get open, and
yes.
I don't think we're getting open. These guys need to fucking get some separation, and
DK is getting open.
You think DK is?
I don't think it. He's leading the league in separation yardage and in separation percentage.
But they had a safety over the top the whole time.
On Sunday, they did a great job of bracketing him. But by and large, overall, over the course of the season, he is getting open. Now, he might be the only guy who is. I mean, Darnell Washington's not. Darnell Washington's not getting open. It just doesn't matter. They throw the ball up high, and he just catches it.
Dude,
and then he gets like a couple of yards after the fact. Yeah, a refrigerator with arms. That's a very, very apt description, Mark.
Oh, Robert with the holy cow, man. A Burt Jones reference. Wow. Fantastic. The old Colt.
I said it in the chat, but for the people who aren't following in the chat, I said, honestly, Herbert might actually be most like a young Aaron Rodgers, that he's got a big arm. He's mobile enough to like roll out, move the chains when needed. So I was trying to think of a quarterback that like wasn't just a statue back there and had some mobility, but also, had a big arm and could be accurate down the field. I mean, if you watch Herbert's just highlight tape, I mean, he can make some ridiculous throws down the field. He's got a great arm.
He made one last week for a touchdown that was insane.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just wanted to say, and I've said this publicly, that I would take Justin Herbert right now over any quarterback in the AFC.
He's a mutant.
Over Mahomes, over Allen, over Lamar. That fucking dude is a fucking specimen. He is a freak. And my biggest fear is seeing that happen on Sunday night, because that dude, he is, and the whole knock on it is like, oh, what has he ever won? And I kind of buy into that as well, but like also like that guy's really good.
Coaching matters, teammates matter.
From a physical talent standpoint, he is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is seriously the word mutant. He does shit that no one else can do. It applies. Now, I don't know that he has the football mind yet that he's going to have when he's played for a long time.
Right.
But when he develops it, look the fuck out. And I agree with Scarps. It's scary. You go out, you don't know which guy is going to show up. The guy that throws some picks or the guy that is going to light you up for 4 touchdowns. Who's it going to be this week?
Well,
let's call a spade here. The Chargers didn't necessarily do him any favors by signing a head coach that wants to run the ball all the damn time, right? Like they have a freak athlete at quarterback, and they're like, oh no, we're going to sign a head coach that wants to be run heavy. One other thing I want to mention about the Chargers, statistically, they've got a really good defense so far.
Yes, they do.
They're 6th, I think, in yards allowed and 12th in points allowed. So they're, top half of the league in both categories. But they don't turn the ball over a whole lot. They've got 2 games where they had 3 turnovers, and in their other 7 games, they just have 2 total turnovers.
Yeah, the Chargers are -4 turnover differential. The Steelers are +9.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they do turn the ball over a lot. The Chargers have turned the ball over at least once in all but 1 game so far.
One of the other things about this week, and I mean, it's the NFL, 17 games, all the games are important. This is pretty significant from a seeding type perspective, because they're sitting there at 6-3. We're 5-3. And they have, I looked at this, they have 3 divisional games left, each of their 3 opponents out west, and 2 AFC games. We have 4 divisional games left, 2 against Baltimore, and 2 AFC games left. So, when it gets down to week 17, week 18, and you're looking at who's in position, the tiebreaker being head to head becomes pretty damn important.
It's important. It's more important for the Steelers, in my opinion.
I agree.
The Steelers play in a tougher division. I think the Chargers expected to have to compete with the Broncos to win this division. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. They're only competing with the Chiefs.
Broncos are up a game on them.
The Broncos
are about to win right now to go to.
Are they?
8-2.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're going to win this game. I thought they were going to blow it. Okay.
I mean, they're in position to win. That's fair.
Okay. I'm not really playing. I wasn't really paying close attention. The last time I checked, they were trying to lose. So, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I stand corrected. Maybe they do play in a tougher division, and in the wild card, it's going to be a bigger deal. But I think the thing that's going to turn the tide, honestly, this week is going to be the fact that every time the Steelers play in LA, the fans show up and they take over.
Oh,
I know that I was very, very critical of Steelers season ticket holders who sold their tickets and allowed the Packers fans to come in and invade Heinz. But it's fucking different when Steelers fans do it.
That's right.
Completely different.
That's right. turnabout is not fair play.
No, it's not, because their fans, they allow us to do that everywhere that the Steelers fans go. Allowing it to happen in Pittsburgh is fucking bullshit. That happening with Steelers fans in other stadiums, that's totally fine.
Seemed to have been a little better last week. I saw a lot of Colts blue, but it didn't appear to be as nearly as bad. All right, let's go ahead and start making our predictions for this weekend's game. This is an 8:20 kickoff, Sunday night football, which of course means we get Collinsworth. Yay, us.
Here's a guy.
Ben, why don't you kick us off tonight with your prediction for these?
I've already kind of tipped my hand.
All right.
I've already kind of tipped my hand here. I think it's a pretty closely matched game from the standpoint that we talked about before, where the Chargers do turn the ball over. The Steelers kind of live and die by the turnover, by this flash play, adding sacks and turnovers. The thing that does concern me is the fact that they tend to give up fourth downs this year, which encourages coaches to go for it on fourth down and extend their drives that way. I mean, they gave up a 4th and 3 on Sunday. What the fuck? A 4th and 3, and you fucking gave that up? And they gave it up easily. So shit like that can't happen. But I do think the Steelers fans are going to turn out this week and take over that stadium. It's going to be good from that standpoint. I'm looking forward to it. I got the Steelers 23-20.
Whoa. Okay. Ben goes Steelers 23, LAC 20. Ian, what do you got this week?
The Chargers are a really weird-ass team when you look at their results, because they went and beat Kansas City in Brazil. And then they beat the Raiders and Broncos, and they were 3-0 with 3 division wins against both Kansas City and Denver. This team's looking real good. And then they went out and lost to the Giants.
Yep.
And I think that was Jackson Dart's first start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They lost to the Giants and then lost to the Commanders by 17. And then they only beat the Dolphins by 2.
Right.
And that's what's going on here? They lost at home to the Colts by 14. Then they turned around and just throttled the Vikings, and then just beat the Titans by 7.
Yeah.
So I kind of looking at their results. Yeah, the Kansas City win's impressive. The Denver win's impressive. But I kind of think this is a team that has had good results. This is a mid-team masquerading as a good team. Justin Herbert is really good, but I think the injuries are going to catch up with them. And for some reason, we just always play good in Los Angeles. I don't know what it is, right? And you guys know, the folks in the chat know that have followed us on Steel City Blitz for a while,
right?
That the Steelers under Tomlin were terrible on the West Coast. They were awful. But since the Rams and Chargers moved to LA, they've been really good in LA because the fans go there. And it doesn't make logical sense to me, right? That we've won a bunch of games in LA, but we have. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I'll say 27-20 Steelers.
27-20 Steelers. Scarpino, what do you got, man? Oh, he's hydrating.
Not this week, boys. Next week against the Bengals.
Long holes.
I think this is a really good spot for the Chargers. And Ian mentioned that they're sort of Jekyll and Hyde. Well, so are we. And I believe a few of those games were on the road. They're at home. Steelers are on the road. Good day, mate.
Good day, Charger.
Good day, mate.
Across the world, this is awesome.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Good day,
people
mate.
actually care what we say in Australia.
I'm sorry. Matt Smith finally shows up.
Yeah, he always shows up at the
Who's
end.
blocking TJ? I don't know. TJ actually does worse against worse
Seems
offensive
like
linemen.
And on
So
it's like, hey, not having any tape on a guy actually plays into this or something.
Right.
6 sacks tomorrow by TJ tomorrow.
Matt
they're playing on a Friday. Holy fuck!
Play at the local high school
Sunday. TJ Watt has 6 sacks, or the defense has 6 sacks. They're not fucking sacking Justin Herbert 6 times. Fucking grow up, Peter Pan. I got the Chargers because Justin Herbert is fucking lethal. I got Justin Herbert led Chargers 26-24.
Wow. Okay.
So they don't cover, but they win.
24. Look, one of the things we started out this program tonight talking about was whether or not that defensive performance by the Steelers was indicative of who they really are.
27-24. My bad.
Pick a fun number, Ryan. 26 is fun.
All right,
fine,
26. Whatever.
I like 26.
Chargers don't score double digits. Holy fuck.
I just
Matt
think
Smith, I would love to know who you are in real life.
Matt Smith is drinking heavily tonight. I'm just going to get right to it. I don't think that defense that we saw by us is our every week defense. You're not going to get that kind of play every week. So I think they'll do some things. I think they will make a few plays, but I'm worried about our offense. And therefore I am going with the Los Angeles Chargers 23, Steelers 20. Yep. So 2-2, like Chuck Woolery used to say. 2 for the Chargers, 2 for the Steelers. We'll see how that works out.
We are all within one score either side. I think that's a very fair.
I do too. And that
Mark
leads
and Ben
us...
both picked 23-20.
Yes. I had mine written down much earlier tonight, and then I immediately laughed when he said that. It is now time for the late great, straight from the coffin, Mr. Casey Kasem, to deliver his thoughts on the Steelers.
I'm laughing at Matt Smith's comment about rubbing Herbert's lamp. I love it. That's fucking hilarious. Matt Smith, he'd look good in black and gold. Just saying.
He would.
You see, it's coast to coast, American top 40. I've been drinking all day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was November 6th, 1996. Our favorite correspondent and non-ball knower Ryan is back with us again this week, and he writes, Dear Casey, can't you see what them Steelers been doing to me? Casey, that's, of course, a parody of the Marshall Tucker Band's Can't You See, off their debut album released in April of 1973. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers was a senior in high school when this album was released. Cam Hayward was in 6th grade, and Slay was in 3rd grade. And AB was still in Dubai. Whoops, not anymore. Did I miss something? Every time I went on the app, formerly known as Twitter, on Tuesday, I kept expecting to see some Steelers news about a trade, but it didn't exist. Kind of like the Epstein files. There were some huge moves. The Colts got Sauce Gardner, which used to be my porn name for my horticultural scenes. Jerry Jones simply couldn't help himself. At one point, I heard he was ready to send a first-round pick to Las Vegas for Kenny Pickett. And then there's the Steelers, who didn't do anything. Well, to be fair, they traded for Cal Duggar last week, and they signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling to the practice squad this week. 2 words, Casey. Super Bowl. What happened? Oh, fuck you, Matt Smith. What happened to the... Ouch. Ouch.
Scarf's breaking characters.
I'm sorry. For those of you who don't see the comment, Matt Smith said I was the towel boy on Epstein Island like he was for the Steelers. I don't even have a comeback to that. Like, how fucked up you got to be in the head, Matt Smith. Anyway, sounds like a you problem, Matt Smith. What happened to the con artist, Casey? I was told he fleeces. I was told he's different. I was told he had more angles than a protractor. He had more cases than Pepsi. He had more degrees than Doogie Howser. But the con artist didn't get it done Tuesday. And believe it or not, Casey, I feel for him. Yinzer Nation was convinced he was going to do something. And if he didn't, he was going to be public enemy number one. Mm-hmm. And I don't really agree with that. It takes two to tango. Perhaps Omar was doing the foxtrot while the Raiders were doing the waltz. Whether fair or not, Omar, the honeymoon is almost over, and neither of us have gotten laid. We've talked about it. We got close a few times, but it just hasn't happened. Perhaps you'll finally get a wide receiver too before Stranger Things returns. Omar, you can't keep teasing me like that. I thought you were the con artist. Unbreak my heart. Well, Ryan, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, and Matt Smith can go fuck himself. And keep your radio tuned right where it is. At number 9 this week, here's Tony Braxton with Unbreak My Heart.
Oh, wow, outstanding.
That was just mean.
It was.
I mean, he said I was a towel boy on Epstein Island.
True. That's true. You had to retort.
You do have a microphone, so he has to listen.
I mean, fuck.
That's true. Matt Smith knows what he's doing. He was bringing it tonight, wasn't he?
He's my biggest hater.
Yeah. Love it. Great stuff again tonight. Thanks everybody that joined us on the platform formerly known as Twitter. I guess it's X or something. And thanks obviously everybody that joined us in the chat. We love you guys. This just makes the show so much better having you guys with us, and we appreciate it. Make sure you check out the website, steelcityblitz.com. And of course, Ian, we in the playoffs in Pennsylvania there, Ian?
Yes, we are. So this is like quarterfinal and semifinal games in Whitfield High School football. Technically the round of 32 in the statewide playoffs. So because the district champions just plug in at different points in the statewide playoffs. Gotcha. So yep, but all things rolling forward. So we'll have 2 Whitfield championship games next weekend and then 4 more the following weekend.
Unreal that we're that far into the season already. But thanks again, everybody, as always. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. And as always, go Steelers.
Ravens suck, but they kind of don't. They're coming back.
Yeah, they're playing better.
We've had some drinks.